Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to hop on real quick right before you hear this upcoming message, conversation, however you want to look at it, on just really, there's no real topic to it. This is more an off the cuff conversation, which I might not even put a topic to it because, again, it's just an off the cuff conversation, which sometimes we need to have. Sometimes people just need to sit and we all just need to sit and listen to each other talk. Man, we need to listen to each other speak before we get to the point where we don't want to hear each other talk anymore, man. That's real. That's real, right? A lot of relationships on the park bench, dying on the park bench, as they say, right? Lives lost, families lost because of the hardness of people's heart, which is something that you'll hear me reference in this episode. Um, Again, in talking about dogs, I mentioned because today is International Dog Day, which again, shout out to the canine in your life, right? Our friends. Now, I reference them as people. Of course, some people do treat their dog as a person, although the dog is an animal. Um, Still, as to dress and keep the planet, that would mean the animals, that would mean the plants, that would mean the air, that would mean the water, the earth. I know this sounds like something out of the Captain Planet cartoon. However, it is a real thing. And our ability or inability to do so is only screwing us because, again, this planet was spinning in motion before God put the humans there. And this is a biblical thing. This isn't me making conjecture. Again, I referenced something about the HIV virus being made. When you look up Dr. Gallo, he is giving criticism. I want to say his name is Richard Gallo. In certain circles, I do believe they call it the Gallo virus. Again, we're just presenting thoughts here, y'all. Okay, whether you believe them or not is your business. You want to think because somebody somewhere in Africa was screwing a monkey, kangaroo, whatever it is, right? Just like with this whole pangolin thing over in Asia with the coronavirus. If we all want to believe this guy's chemical warfare has been going on for as long as the bullet has been flying in warfare. It's time we really start putting two and two together, y'all. They want you here long enough to take from you and then get you off, get you off the map. Okay, this is the point, right? No different than on the plantation. Work for as long as you can, and you can't no more. We're gonna get rid of you, and also we'll be killing you in the middle of it. This is it. This is the game, y'all. Right? So, I just wanted to hop on there real quick just to make those kind of distinctions. And I hope y'all enjoy the message. Thank you for walking the road with me, no matter how hard it might be. That we all learn together as a family, and we will talk to you soon. All right, and a good morning to you, ladies and gentlemen. How are we doing out there today, y'all? How we doing today, man? Right? A good Monday morning to you. The 26th of August, 2024. International Dog Day today, ladies and gentlemen, right? Shout out one time to our canine friends, right? That group of people that we are here to love and appreciate, dress and keep on this planet. Y'all welcome in us, the almost 600 plus strong who listen to this podcast here called A Different View. Of course, we're going to address some things today. We're going to try to tie this in here with a verse. We're going to go over some words and some definitions to these words. Because again, like we have said, the foundation of this podcast, you must pay attention to words and phrases because it is the things used in society today to screw you. Government systems across the planet, people right? Because when we say governmental systems, let's be honest, they're made of people, right? So people's thought processes, folks you went to high school with, that made it big, as they say, right? Again, in order for, as we have said on this podcast, in order for you to make it on the docket, on the ballot, in the magazine, anything, right? You have to sign up for Screw You magazine. I know it is a hard thing for people to accept, but you're just not walking into the Democratic Party. You're not walking into the Republican Party. Shocking, we only have 2 to vote from, right? George Carlin was right when he said they take away your choice, y'all. They got to give you the illusion, because that's the truth. Not because he said it. When you look at life, they got to give you the illusion that you've got choice. But you don't, because they've rigged the system. Separate from people who blame God for this, because again, you're just not going to willy-nilly off and do what you want to do. Because clearly when you look at life and people willy-nilly off and do what they want to do, it looks pretty bad. Like this idea with Breonna Taylor as we jump in, where, let's see, how did I post this on Facebook? It was shocking for me to find this out. But at the same time, it shouldn't be shocking anymore, right? Ladies and gentlemen, you got to understand the world in which you live in. And the closer you get to it, and because again, we walk in with God, right? This is to our Christian brothers and sisters one time. How y'all doing out there, right? The closer you get into the walk with the Creator, the closer you get to the reset, right? Because we're all talking about the rapture and all that kind of thing. And the closer you get to the reset of a thing, the beginning of a thing, the renewing of a thing, right? Life and death, then rebirthing into life again. You know how we have issues with reincarnation, right? We got to knock down our brothers and sisters that are Buddhist in thought process. And then when we say brothers and sisters on this podcast, we are talking about those who are humans. Because for some odd reason, we skip that part of it. We get into the salvation thing. We get into all this other stuff. We forget that they are human. We are all human down here, right? As such, we are part of a family. Which is why I reference us as family, just as I do ladies and gentlemen, guys and gals, so on and so forth. Right? Each been given a choice. While we just finished talking about the removal of your choice. Y'all have been given a choice to choose. Like, do you continue to play this game that they've got set up for you, or do you not? Doesn't have to. Again, we must hammer home the point, because it is one of the defenses in the mind that companies everywhere, everyone is using this violent aspect. Stop putting off on people who want peace and talk about it, the idea that is violent in nature. Yeah, they're passionate about it. Yeah, go to look at the word. They're passionate about it. Anybody doing a physical harm to no one because of it? Normally, the physical violence starts when someone who they consider a snowflake, or let's use some words. A lot of this today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about. It's not for the babies, by the way. So, if you have your young people listening to it, then again, we can look and see through Spotify for Podcasters. Shout out to Spotify for Podcasters, since it's been a while. Thank you for putting on a platform here where people of all different types and faiths and shapes and sizes, right? Whether folks consider them dumb, smart, or whatever, all in between, a platform to be able to speak on things that are necessary for life and godliness, right? Wholesome living. Letting people know what's going on in the world. Thank y'all for doing that, right? Again, I am found on multiple places. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on, of course, we just mentioned Spotify for Podcasters. We're on YouTube Studio. I didn't put it actually on YouTube, but you can find the channel. I believe it's at a different view 80. Okay. Understand, get the word out there, ladies and gentlemen. The idea of wisdom, knowledge being hidden, especially when you speak from some of these different belief standpoints, is the exact opposite of what you're supposed to do. If the narrow road is truly narrow, and the idea is for all to come. See, again, we spoke on this idea between the teacher and the disciple, right? See, again, let's just do this. We were going to bring up some different words here. This is just one off of the cuff here that I have been stewing on here for a minute, which is the word instruct. See, again, in order to have a disciple, you've got to have a teacher. And in order to have a teacher, they've got to be doing something. What does a teacher do? They instruct you, right? Sometimes it is said of a husband in a relationship. Now, again, I am not going to go so far as to think that the wife or the other partner in the relationship, shout out to our homosexual, transgender brothers and sisters. We got to get over it, y'all. You want to talk about the part where they're being used to wipe out the balance of life? Oh, that's a totally different topic than them being at and having a proper seat at the table of life, just like you. We've run into this with the Olympics. We've run into this. We have run in this just lately this year. We run into this way too much, and y'all better get your get your seatbelt buckle. Make sure that you're strapped in real good, because it's not going nowhere, y'all. It hadn't gone nowhere in history in times past, and it ain't going nowhere now. It won't go nowhere in the future, because guess what? It's part of the game. The human choice. You can choose what? Never mind. To direct or command. I like direct better than command, but we'll go with it. This is coming from Oxford's Dictionary about instruct. Direct or command someone to do something, especially as an official order. To teach someone a subject or a skill. That is more direct in the heart of what a teacher does from the standpoint of instruction. It is giving folks the skill. See, when the supposed adult today talks about, because really you just got grown kids going all over. You got, older kids going around all over the place. We are all, listen, you got to drop the defenses in the mind. No one is accusing anyone here. As a family, as a business, you don't get nothing off the table, right? If you want to look at this as a business conference, you got to put the subject of conversation on the table in order to have an open one, so that you can come to serious resolution. Do you know why you don't get it on your businesses, ladies and gentlemen? Family, do you know why you don't get resolution in your family? Because no one is truly willing to open up their hearts. See, now this is where I get to add in another layer that's been given to me to speak to y'all, which is this. The hardness of men's hearts, people's hearts, is why you have the issues you have in life, y'all. We have to accept the truth of a thing. Make your heart pliable again, right? We have read verses in the Bible that talks about how you can train your senses to know good and evil. Guess which one of these senses you can train? The sense in sensing the pain. See, we're talking meekness, right? Dealing also in love and compassion. Jesus looked upon the crowd and was moved with compassion. If y'all are about change, we gotta change what we've changed. Come on, somebody. We have turned this world into an absolute sick, twisted, Saw-like movie funhouse, and it's time to bring a little bit more balance. That's all. This is not robbing anybody's freedom. This is none of the mess that you normally hear. This is coming closer together as people, and also with the great borders, all of the miles of water and land on this planet that we can inhabit and use respectfully and responsibly. It's time to start doing it, y'all. Or else we sign up for our own demise. That's it. This is what teachers do. Since the word teach is there, I feel as if we need to go there just for a second. So we're going to go there for a second. Excuse me. To show or explain. See, you got to learn something, though, to be able to show and explain something to someone. What the disciple then does with it on the back end is one thing. But here is my problem when they talk about discipleship. You got to talk about the teacher. And we ain't ready to talk about what the teacher teaching, because y'all teaching a bunch of fluff. You teach enough so that we can give you money in churches, so that we can give you money toward governmental programs that got little, at the very best, little to do with its citizens. This is why they silence this type of talk, y'all. This is why it's important to promote this kind of talk. Not for what people think the response then will be. It's because it's out of balance. This ain't about no riots. Y'all stop tearing up their stuff because they got it encoded for them to get money off your anger. It's time for you. See, your Bible tells you to be angry, but don't miss it when you're angry, right? Sinning, error, missing them. Be angry and sin not. That opens up a whole other door of you can be sad and sin not. I know nobody's thinking out there, man. All the range of emotion is given to us to keep in check, for us to hold each other accountable, to keep in check. This is real, y'all. We need to stop talking so much repression. That's why you got priests molesting boys every day, because for some odd reason in the Catholic Church, in order for you to be holy, you can't be married no more. Come on, somebody. What are you talking about? Listen, I am totally okay with what a person believes, because it's your choice to believe what you so believe. This also includes inside the Christian faith. But there's some of these things we need to relook at, and we're told in Scripture to do so. And the fact we don't is hurting us, y'all. We're rejecting certain knowledge. We have a lack of certain knowledge. This comes to us all, y'all. No, if you want a disciple, you got to teach. You got to show and explain something to somebody. How to do it. Y'all ain't showing nobody how to do it. You got financial programs where people want your money. So you running off of Master's doctrine, because that's how Master wants you to do it. You know, like in order for a slave to go free, you would have to, I know nobody's paying attention to history, right? We more concerned about preaching the Bible in class. Man, shout out to the Oklahoma public school systems, man. I hope y'all teachers stand up in solidarity against that mess, because it ain't working. Y'all might as well go back to Yellowstone 1884. Y'all know about that show Yellowstone? I'm finally remembering the name because I'm saying it enough. Again, I don't commit these things to memory, because when you talk about the frontier and all that kind of stuff, I know how this gets under the skin of people, but you got to understand what was going on. Other people were killed and held to the side while somebody else came in and took their stuff. So don't be mad now when the migrant and the immigrant is coming over here taking your stuff. Come on, somebody. If you want these things to be balanced, you've got to address the original issue. Now, we can play the happy foot dance at how that's addressed, but if you don't address it, you've left the door open for this mess to continue. And it don't matter which one of them you vote for. Vote Democratic, they're going to bring them in, right? We already know that. Okay, this is a Democratic Party thing. This doesn't have to do with the person. The person's just a ringleader. Now, again, at the same time, realize there's certain things behind the scenes there. Do you continue to choose European white men to run the country? See, folks are just walking past certain things here. You go to policies and what little bit Master gonna give us a little something, and we gonna be happy, Toby. That's what's wrong with, see, when do you want to be free or not? Do you want to walk off the plantation, or do you want to recreate it into a different plantation? And again, before folks start, okay, Jay, you talking down. We're not talking down to nobody. We're saying what the real is. It's the same thing. It's the same thing in homes. Break it down toward homes, because I got this whole little note here about how we interact with each other. So we're just talking off the cuff for a minute, ladies and gentlemen. It's just, you know what I mean? Just kind of just walk with me for a minute. Okay? How you interact with each other is important, y'all. We're going to show the ugly side of ourselves when it comes to voting. Not to mention that it's an electoral college that I know, while there's been ratifications in the Constitution, the thing was built on racism. It was built on slavery. We're okay voting in that? We still haven't had a coalition yet to turn the thing to a popular vote. I know all the excuses that come up because we done heard them a million times. So while your vote counts, and oh yeah, it do, look what they're making you put it into. Same thing like you going to work. Yeah, you got to go to work. Yeah, of course. A person who doesn't work shouldn't eat, right? But are you supposed to be working in the conditions you're in? Now, I know Master got you conditioned that, hey, this is okay what we doing. Is it right for you to go to work like that, y'all? No overtime, very little perks. Folks are happy to get 40 hours vacation time. Happy about it. They running a cold game, man. They running a cold game at our expense, man. And it's no different than this thing here just switching back into this Breonna Taylor type of thing. And God help the Democratic Party or the Republican Party using this woman's pain. Shout out and rest in peace, our dear. Rest in power. However you want to say it, y'all. We want to sit there and talk about whether she was involved in some mess. Meanwhile, we just finished voting. We didn't vote. They voted for us. That it's okay for the president to do stuff and you can't come after them on a certain level, right? Isn't that what just happened with former President Donald Trump? We just watched it, right? See, we're so conditioned. There's this story about about I think it's either a frog, lobster, whichever one it is, right? In order to cook them, right? You got to get them in the pot and turn up the heat slowly so that they boil to death. You don't feel it until you're dead. That's what's going on, y'all. This is why in the beginning of this podcast, I said, are you okay dying quickly or slowly? Why? Because that's the real thought, y'all. We've already seen what happened with coronavirus. People got ill intent on the mind. I don't care whether it was our Asian brothers and sisters, whether you're talking about the HIV virus and how that was made. That's something y'all can look up. This isn't because a bunch of homosexual people were having sex everywhere. When do we stop, y'all? When do we stop killing ourselves and start protecting ourselves and in educating ourselves? When do we do that? We ain't come that far with all this bloodshed here. That we're pointing back to another world war. Think about how cash-strapped we are. We know that war is the only thing we've got that generates money. And we're more concerned either about World War III, Civil War, than repairing that which the wars previously caused on these lands. That's wild, y'all. That is the definition of insanity. Y'all want the same instances looking for different outcomes? How does the... Never mind. So again, with this whole Breonna Taylor thing and them allowing this is on MSNBC. Just to wrap up here real quick, because again, a lot of this stuff, y'all, ain't even worth it ain't even worth really talking about anymore. We're just gonna let stuff play out. Like we said this a while ago. So everybody thinks a certain way, so be it, right? We all have the choice to choose. We're gonna let time play out. Time is undefeated, y'all. The nature of a person comes out over time. When you look at the word nature, when we say that word, I want y'all to understand, when you look at the definition of it, something you can type right on your phone. See, many of these times, I don't even mention something that you're reading a book. We ain't got there yet. I want people to understand that you can look right online for most of this information because they're taking the stuff from the book and putting it online for you. Now, there's other information that's in the book that they have not put yet online because it'd be too damaging and too damning for them. So it's good to read, okay? But understand that most of the knowledge for the basis and the foundation of how badly you're being screwed every day, you can find it right online. It's not false news. It's not none of that mess. Yes, the media controlled by very greedy people, the same greedy people who sit in the seat of power that we keep putting there because we don't get involved in our government. They sit in our governmental seats, whether it's a mayor, a governor, governor's trustees, it doesn't matter who it is. We got to get more involved, y'all. November, whatever, is real nice. Okay? But that one, the midterms, and every other little one in between, y'all need to be pounding the pavement like you pound the pavement to go to your job every day. To make sure they're putting in place for you what is for you. The different communities of people need to continue to stay banded together. Don't think for 1 second you ain't gonna see the Latino and the Latina not stay together. That's silly, right? Same thing for the Jew. Same thing for our supposed white brothers and sisters. It's time that our supposed black brothers and sisters start shaking off the shackles of the pain that was given to us and walk into a new light of life. That is real. That doesn't have to do anything with any hate toward any community. That don't have to do anything with any dislike toward any community. It's about preservation and supporting yourself. No different than anyone else. We got to let go of a lot of this mess, y'all. One in two people don't make a community, right? So 1 in 2 people ain't going to affect the change. The nature of a person deals with the basic or inherent features of something. Now they say something, of course, also someone. You look at this is the second point here when you look up just type in nature meaning on Google from Oxford, right? Go down to point 2, the basic or inherent features of something. Now, innate, this is a little sub thing to it, the innate or essential qualities or character of a person. So judge me by my character. When you start looking at certain people, y'all, there's a certain nature they've got. There's certain elements in their character. Folks are okay being tricksters. They're okay operating in the thing that twists the truth. You gotta be careful of that. There's a quote online you can find from DMX, right? Where he's telling people you always got to trust that a person will always be what they are. You trust a snake to be a snake, a fox to be a fox, an ox to be an ox. I'm just adding in certain ones. I don't think he said those, right? You trust what the thing is. You've already preset in your mind, okay, you're ready. Now, when a person proves and shows themselves differently, you've got to be willing to take the stages to allow that person to show themselves to be so. And if you're not ready to do it, then what are we doing, y'all? Stay away from them. This is why separation is necessary, which is why I constantly keep saying that the South had it right. They were doing it wrong. You got to come away. This nation was actually doing okay in its separation. The problem was trying to force slavery to make money work for an economy. The problem was Europe thinking they could take over these lands. So this is affecting now both North and South, because that's how this mess was made. You've got to recreate the thing. We use our creative abilities to call people names, come up with weird phrases and sayings and hashtags. I use hashtags all over the place, right? But we can't use our creative abilities to redo the mess our ancestors did. We still stuck, man. Still stuck saying things that we've heard from them years past. Time to let it go. It was birthed out of the wrong thing, y'all. I said I was gonna get into Corinthians 13, but we ain't there today. We ain't there today. We're 24 minutes in. I've had to say some things I've had to say, so it is what it is. When it comes to interacting with each other on the road, we got to get better. We've done talked about this. In the bedroom, we got to get better. In the house, the bedroom and the house, right? We owe it to each other. How you gonna be married and you, man or woman, is not doing what's necessary? Men, we got to stop blaming women for being hoes and sluts and tramps and all this kind of mess, and we're doing the same thing. Almost as like it's built in for a dude to have a side chick. Now listen to me. This is why we talked about open marriage on this podcast, and I'm gonna reiterate something right now. If you don't believe in it, that is your choice, and you'll find no shaming here. However, if you do, this is the thing. Y'all need to take whether it's wrong, adultery, all that out of it. Again, when we look at the word adultery, it's dealing with not just the sex with a married person. It's when you're doing it behind their back. When you have, this is why people can't understand that whole culture. This is why. I'm letting y'all in on the secret, okay? This is why it's a thing that's been done throughout society forever, okay? If you are not going to be open and honest with your partner or spouse, on your sexual nature, right? That foundational part of you, which everybody got a different one. Because we operate in sexual repression, you don't know it. You don't have a clue. Learn yourself. Be honest and truthful with your partner. Be honest and truthful with your spouse, with your wife, with your husband, right? From there is the basis where love can blossom, y'all. Where honesty can begin. No matter what it is, whether you do open marriage or you don't. The fact that we have too many skeletons in the closet is the reason why we're screwed, y'all. Create an environment where you can be open. See, this idea where you start saying the things that you like sexually and then you get the back response, that's not going to work, y'all. We have likes and dislikes, and that is to be respected. However, you got to know the other person you're dealing with. You've got to be pliable enough to know they may come out with a curveball 30 years down the road. I'm being for real. Take the element of surprise out of the game and you'll be less surprised when the game starts. In the home with parents and kids, we got to start loving each other. Man, this ain't going to work. This ain't going to work until we start loving and respecting each other. Or else it's just going to be, husband, I lord it over the wife and kids. Y'all listen to me and figure it out along the way. That don't work well. It doesn't work for Rome with emperors. It didn't work in England and in Europe with kings and queens. It don't work. Not when there's no love and justice and mercy there, it don't work. The way we interact on the job, y'all. You got to start standing up for yourself. If one side's got protections and you don't, you screwed. It's time to start standing up for ourselves. They're giving us the reason to. Because they think we won't do it. A lot of these things tie into the ideas that are expressed in 1 Corinthians 13. But again, it's been lately, I just cannot get into that chapter. We get going and I can't get into that chapter. So again, seems like it's going to be a goodie when we start talking about it again. Love bears things, y'all. We talked about bearing burdens. If you can't do that, you might as well not even get involved to begin with. So, shout out to international dogs. All over the canine, all over the world. Shout out to y'all. International Dog Day, right? Love on your pets, y'all. Again, some people, and we won't even go there. We won't even love on your pets, y'all. Right? Dogs, cats, birds, whatever you got. Fish, whatever you got. Of course, we're talking about dogs for today, all over the planet. Many different breeds. Awesome dogs. Know the ones that are good for you to have. Certain family members should not be having certain people should not be having certain dogs. Y'all can't take care of your animals. Leave them where they at. Right? So, oh man, pick up after your dogs. We done talked about that, man. I don't know how many different ways we can say it. You guys want to be walking around and poop in your house? If you got all these neighborhoods and all these dog parks and all these places all not picking up after their dog, don't you think you want to track some of that mess in you're okay stepping in poo? Yeah, some thoughts just blow my mind sometimes, man. So that's what I got for y'all today. Thank you very much for walking this road with me. Shout out to Breonna Taylor. Shout out to our canines, man. Shout out to folks making it through in the struggle, man. I hope this article here from Breonna Taylor, basically, as we wrap up here, they blamed the boyfriend for why her murder occurred, and they let off 2 of those cops. Let me just pull this up real quick here so I complete a thought. Y'all understand where I'm coming from here. Why I even mentioned it to begin with. So MSNBC, you can find that right on MSNBC. Judge faults Breonna Taylor's boyfriend for her death, drops key charges against 2 police officers. So it's a little stuff for y'all to look up and study and learn and understand life and us around each other, right? That's what I got for y'all today. Thank you for walking this road with me. And until next time, as always, look to find the beauty in a different view.